Hi everybody, welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Victoria Michael and I am the editor-in-chief of English texts over at Content Team. Last time that we put out a video, it was the very beginning of my series on emotional SEO in which I explained what exactly that is, and I gave some examples of brands who really dig into this storytelling. And today I wanted to give you more concrete examples of emotional words that your copywriters can put into content. Okay, so today I would like to go over 4 emotional triggers. Let's start. Okay, number 1, first emotional trigger is guilt. Okay, I know that doesn't sound good. Nobody wants to be a guilt mongerer, right? Like, guilt seems to be a very bad emotion, along with anger, and fear, and disgust, that kind of thing. And I would agree that guilt is very tricky to use, and if you use it wrong, you risk alienating your audience. But it does have its time and place. I want you to think of those old ASPCA commercials with the Arms of an Angel song, right? So it would be like black and white, and there would be a little sad puppy on the screen, and then that song, the In the Arms of an Angel, would play in the back, right? And I think those started coming out, 25 years ago, and people are still talking about them today. I mean, granted, when people talk about them, they're kind of making fun of them, but it worked, right? ASPCA is very successful. It receives a lot of donations through charity drives and the like, and they're a little bit heavy-handed on the guilt. What they do is they say, this is the bad thing that's happening, and if you don't give us money, you are partially responsible for this bad thing happening, okay? So this is a negative guilt connotation, but you can take a more positive approach to guilt in your writing, which is what I really recommend doing. Guilt and compassion are really 2 sides of the same coin, right? So let's say you donate to charity with every purchase. If you use that as a selling point of your product, then you are actually already utilizing guilt as an emotional trigger. So some words that your copywriters could start factoring into content would be humane, charity, donation, mercy, kindness, and compassion, right? These are all positive guilt words. If you wanted, you could go the negative route and do things like, disgraceful, things like that, but I don't really recommend that for now. Okay, next emotional trigger, is trust. All right, this is a big one. Everyone wants to be trustworthy, but a lot of prospective customers are skeptical, and that's because there have been so many instances where a brand says that they feel a certain way, right? Maybe on Twitter they vocalize their support for a certain movement, and then people dig back into that brand's Twitter history and they're like, excuse me, 3 years ago you said this and this. Why? You're just lying now, right? Okay. People go back really far, which is why it's important to maintain a consistent brand voice, because if you waver in that consistency, people might notice even years later. Okay, I'd say it seems like nowadays a lot of companies use the same trust tactics, right? They might say, we have no hidden fees, or we guarantee your 100% satisfaction, or else you get your money back, right? And these are fine, these are good, but they're overused. Something you could do instead, if you want to take a fresher approach, is to explain the reason behind your pricing. And a lot of the times, consumers are actually willing to pay a higher price if there's a good reason behind it. And this makes for a really good topic for copywriting, right? Explaining the what goes on behind your product. If you create or if you sell home decor, maybe showcasing some of the creators behind those products. This has actually been a really successful method on TikTok. There's a trend and a song goes on in the background. I'm about to curse, just letting you know. It goes, it costs this much because it takes me fucking hours. It costs that much because I don't have superpowers. And, oh, that was bad. But essentially, people are using this video, or this trend rather, to show why their work costs this much. And in the video, they show snippets of their work on the process from beginning to end and showing that there's so much work that goes into it, and this is why they price their products the way that they do. And while you could hop on TikTok and do that, you would stand to benefit so much more from SEO by publishing articles about it. And one more note on trust. So another way to inspire trust is to be very specific in your copywriting. So publishing content with dates, names, numbers, facts, real testimonials from known companies. Okay, this is going to be very trust inspiring. Now, for some examples of trust words, you can use scientific, proven, guaranteed, absolutely, and transparent. Those are some of my favorites. All right, time for the third emotional trigger. This one is belonging. So many people purchase items so that they feel like they're a part of a specific group, and feeling like you belong is a strong emotional trigger. Like, as humans, we create groups and societies naturally. So it really applies to marketing as well. Two brands that come to mind are Apple and Nike. You know, are you an Apple user or are you an Android user? Do you wear Nike or do you wear Adidas? Right? People kind of form, I don't want to say cults, as close to cult as you can get without a religious connotation. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, sorry. So to appeal to this, your writers need to create copy that says, would you like to join a community of people that is X, Y, and Z? Like, really drive into that community aspect. So for example, become part of a community that is forward-thinking, that is environmentally conscious, that strives to make a difference, that kind of thing. All right, and some belonging words would be we, obviously, together, society, community, become a member, join our group, maybe. Yeah. All right, last one that I want to talk about today is exclusivity, which is a little funny coming after the last one. Even though everybody wants to belong somewhere, they don't necessarily want everybody else to belong there. Feeling exclusive or unique really strokes your ego, which is what makes exclusivity such a good emotional pull. So by limiting the amount of your product, or maybe offering like a VIP membership or something like that, you are making your customers feel like they're part of this highly exclusive elite group. And one thing that immediately comes to mind is the Clubhouse app, right? Where it's invitation only, it's hard to get into, and then once you're in, you're part of an engaging community, and it seems like everybody wants to get in. And some exclusivity words would be login required, maybe, a better one, no, exclusive, invitation only, that's a good one, and members only. The word only will come up a lot. All right, so those are the 4 emotional trigger words that I wanted to go over today. As always, if you have any questions regarding copywriting or content, anything like that, let me know. All right, bye.